Mother Earth News Fair, Permaculture by Mary Palmer Dargan. We're rocking and rolling in Asheville, North Carolina, and this is Permaculture 101.
Thank you. Welcome to Mother Earth News Fair to Permaculture 101. I'm Mary Palmer Dargan, and hello, welcome. Glad to have you here. And I'm not trying to sell a book, but what I'd like to do is open a book and open a gate for you all to learn the principles of permaculture. I'm a landscape architect, I'm a botanist, I've been in business for 40 years. And so what I thought I'd do is open the page to a part of my book called Lifelong Landscape Design that talks about the benefits of drawing a lifelong landscape. And lifelong landscapes mean that you'll be living on that property longer than you ever imagined, maybe when you first bought it. So you want to make sure all the spaces work well. Welcome everybody, I'm doing a lecture on Permaculture 101. So that gives you an idea. You can look at chapter 10 to get basics information on that. But let's do a couple of little short introductory statements about permaculture. Permaculture means several things to several people. Whoops, that one needs a different. When in doubt, use red, right? Can y'all see this all right? Yes. So Permaculture 101. This is all about having your home environment work to its highest and best purpose so that you can be nourished, so you'll flourish to reach your highest and best potential in life. Permaculture reaches out into your community to share the offspring of your garden. It often also works deep in your soil so that you'll have excellent earth to grow nourishing vegetables from. And it looks at your house so that you have a clean house and you're working hand in hand in concert with nature. And I'll be giving a 3-hour full workshop on this. Let me grab my card. In Pastures, North Carolina, on the 24th of April and on the 15th of May. So if y'all can pass these around if you're interested in that. So we're going to be talking about, in this very short lecture introduction, we'll be talking about the mind, body, and spirit of your home environment. This is a very important concept. And we'll be talking about also the 8 key ingredients. And then I can answer any questions that you might have about this topic. So permaculture also means to many people different things. I think about it as meaning, when it relates to the home environment, to sustainable gardening. And so there are components to sustainable gardening, from compost areas to vermiculture beds to your gardening beds to annuals to pollinators. It's a one big picture. That's why we call it gardening in concert with nature. So we'll move on to the first little bit. I think it really is all about the mind, body, and spirit on your property. Hello everybody, I'm giving a little, I'm Mary Palmer Dargan and talking about Permaculture 101. It's a big topic and we have just a few minutes, so we'll keep going. The body of your property is the house. It's the hub around which everything revolves on your land. The mind of the property is actually the land. The land has water, the good earth, the air, the sun. The body of the house has tentacles like electrical lines, telephone lines, underground sewer and septic fields. All of these things, when they work in harmony with each other, you have a mind-body-spirit connection. And we call this the spirit of place, or genius loci. And you've probably heard about that. The Greeks and Romans thought about the spirit of a place was actually a deity. But you can have this sense of harmonious living on your own property by keeping in mind that the body of your house and the mind of the land need to work in harmony. And that's what permaculture is all about, at least in the book Lifelong Landscape Design. So we talk about the web of life and how you can rest lightly on your land. And there are 6 main components to that. But moving right along to what you're thinking about today is, I don't know, for instance, how many of y'all have ever studied landscape design? I don't see, but one hand, all right. You go, girl. But you realize when you have X-ray vision, which very few of us have learned how to do because we've never studied landscape design, you might not know how the body of the house and the land blends with each other. And so I call these layers. And if you can even master the concept of layers while you're here right now, this will help you design sustainability-wise. You have a raw layer, which is the land, the creek, the house, the earth. Then you have a built layer that has the electrical lines, the sewer, the septic, they fit together. And then you have a living layer, which is the trees and the grass and all the components that fit together to make it a living, breathing environment. So those three layers are very important for you to learn how to live in concert with nature. They're covered in the book. Why do you want to know how to do this? Because you won't have any dysfunction. You'll be able to have everything hold hands together. You'll be going forward instead of backwards in your landscape designs. And this is really what we'll be teaching in that course on April the 24th and May the 15th in Casters, is how to help you, it's a small class, learn how to be a designer. And we want to help you learn that. And it'll be an enduring landscape. So you need to know yourself. And what exactly is your program? What do you want to do on your property? Do you want to have flowers, vegetables, you know, a lifelong healthy environment? You may want a swimming pool, an outdoor terrace, things that people do to, you know, make their lives rich on their land. So what I always recommend is that you think in terms of lifelong, the word lifelong. Live with the web of life, interact socially. These are the components for healthcare garden design. Interact socially, facilitate access so that you can walk and use your whole property, so that it has the spaghetti noodles of trails and walkways that get you seamlessly from one part to the next, reducing unnecessary energy. Then you want to have energy and action. We don't all need to go out and chop wood, but we might want to go do maybe some Pilates or yoga or swim or doing things, but you need to have energy and action on your property. Then we have live with passive places. We might want to have a little meditation or qigong or just read a good book, but make a space for you to do that. Did you know it only takes 64 square feet, an area that's like 8 by 8 in size, so that you can do yoga. You know, it's the size of man's hands, head, feet, spread. That's the Michelangelo's man. It's very interesting. It's all about form follows function, and then you wrap the processes around that. Then we want to be able to organize stress-free environments. By stress-free, it means that you can use horticultural techniques such as wonderful fragrance plants. You could have different food stuffs, and that's all covered in the book. So it's very helpful to have a stress-free environment and invite Mother Nature into it, because did you know by sitting in a landscape that is covered with plants that are kind of a hodgepodge, breathing deeply, it will reduce your stress level immediately and within 5 minutes, just by breathing deeply, because you're interacting with nature, and it's a proven thing to reduce your cortisol. So that's one reason why I love stress-free environments. It helps, takes the pressure off your organs to work so hard if you're stress-free. One of the last ones is called Need Horticultural Therapy. This is literally go out and digging, be mobile, be flexible, you know, dig, reach. My beds at home in Pastures at Dovecote, we have an active little farmlet there, are raised up 20 inches and they're 4 feet wide, so I can sort of lean over and garden very easily. And then the last key component to a lifelong landscape design is get a healthy house. And a healthy house would have sensible thought processes about what materials were used in its construction. It's really hard when you have an old farmhouse like Dovecote to get rid of all the bad things. So we're still working on peeling the onion on it. But then you can look at your alternative energy sources, and then how you the air is clean, the water's good, and get everything tested for mold. I'm a big believer in mold testing. So these are the 8 key ingredients. Now what do you do if you're trying to be a designer and you've never designed before? How many of you all know what your plat looks like? Let's see some hands here. Okay, so you know what your survey looks like and what your plat looks like. This is a very important concept, because that is the magic line that you design within. And so if I'm doing sort of a looking at someone's property, like I might be looking at yours, let's say that
When you look at your property from a hot air balloon, a whole new world exposes itself. So come with us to part 2 and watch the Garden Talk Salon as we study the perimeters, spaces of your whole property. Join us for other Garden Talk Salon features in the future. The site is dargan.com, dargan.com.